Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by. Welcome to the Weighing In on Healthy, New Attitudes on Healthy Snacking webinar. During the presentation, all participants will be in a listen-only mode. If you would like to ask a question during the presentation, please use the chat feature located in the lower left corner of your screen. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded today, Wednesday, September 18, 2013. Your speaker for today will be David White, Client Development Manager. In his 30-plus years in market research, David White has worked across FMCG, retail, healthcare, and media. He's been responsible for designing and launching new and innovative research products for both the FMCG and healthcare markets, and has also been instrumental in developing and launching consumer panels around the world, including Eastern Europe, Asia Pacific, and Latin America. David has worked on both custom and syndicated studies, holding senior positions at TNS and Nielsen, and more recently at Holden Permain, where he worked with online panels using a combination of both qual and quant methodologies. David is a full member of the MRS and CIM Chartered Marketer. Please proceed, sir.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. Over the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to take you through a healthy study. I'll start with a bit of background and then move on to some of the key findings. There will be a Q&A session at the end, so please feel free to ask any questions. You can type those in on your screen as we go along. So why healthy? Well, for the last few years, we've conducted a number of studies ourselves on a variety of key subjects. We've looked at areas like indulgence, value, luxury, and last year we looked at natural, and the feedback was so positive we went out and asked our clients about various other topics and territories that they wanted us to look at, and healthy came out as number 2. So healthy is obviously an important topic. So we interviewed respondents in 6 different countries. We used our trusted panel partners to get the sample, do the translation work, and data production as we outsource these elements to achieve the best quality. We know from talking to our clients that they were interested in the BRIC countries, so we took a cross-section of countries to include both a selection of the BRIC countries and the US, UK, and Germany, basically to be able to contrast and compare what consumers in each country think about what healthy means to them. Now, clearly in 20 minutes it's not possible to go into a huge amount of detail, and whilst I'm sure some of the findings will confirm your current views on what consumers think is healthy, I hope there will be a few surprises along the way. So, to help us understand what healthy means to consumers, we looked at all the product attributes that I'm sure many of you will be familiar with if you work in these areas. But what we wanted to do with this study was really to get underneath the factual and functional elements and understand the emotional drivers, the imagery and thoughts of the consumers regarding this topic. These additional elements, if I can call them that, are not typically included in online studies looking at specific brands or categories. So we hope to demonstrate through the course of the seminar the type of work we do and how you can successfully get at these emotions in an online study. So what is healthy? We're going to move to some of the key findings of the study, but just before I do that, let me just take you through our approach to getting at those consumer emotions, using our techniques to really engage with respondents and get them to tell us about their attitudes towards healthy. So how do we do this? Well, we don't think in words and text, if you think about it. We think in terms of images and sounds. And if you've read any of the academics on the subject, like Zortman, you'll know that a very small part of any of our decision-making process is actually a conscious decision. And most of the decision-making is actually in the subconscious. And this is very key. As a result of this, as researchers, we're challenged every day, and we tend to use words to ask questions, and respondents tend to give us words back in their responses. However, we use different methods and techniques here at BuzzBack to really get at that subconscious and understand the emotional aspects of decision-making. One method we use is eCollage. Some of you will be familiar with it. You can see the demo running here now. It is similar to an offline collage that you would use perhaps in a focus group, but gives us different capabilities. One approach we take is to try to better understand what the word healthy means to consumers. We leverage the metaphoric power of imagery. Respondents create a collage in our eCollage tool that you see here, choosing images, manipulating them in terms of size, in terms of importance, and are then asked, very importantly, to describe their collage, why they chose the images, and to give us that understanding. We will see examples of this as we proceed through the study. So we select the images that are appropriate to the question and the study, and we pick images that relate to the topic, but we also pick other things like color and textures and random designs, because when we start off, we don't know which images are going to spark ideas. And so the aim is to be fun and engaging for the respondent and for them to be able to really provide their emotional details. So let's look at some of the results. The key images evolve around healthy eating and staying active, as you'll probably expect. And I think any study around healthy is going to contain those two areas. But more interestingly is the emotional background that was revealed here. And we will see more of this as we go through the study. The US and UK play back associations very much around food and fitness. Interestingly, Brazil emphasizes more emotional connections. And then Germany highlights balance more so than other countries, balance of life and so forth. Similar to Brazil, images for Russia are more emotional and family-based, though they also focus on nature and natural. In terms of the UK, the emphasis appears to be around, and indeed in the US, around food for fuel. Consumers are buying food as a requirement to eat and then going back to their earlier activity, whereas by contrast in Brazil, food is more for fun, it's about family, it's about eating with friends, and it's a more sociable occasion. So we see quite marked differences around the world. Of course, not all consumers are the same, and we wanted to try and find consumers with like attitudes towards health. We therefore conducted a factor analysis to get the 3 dimensions in total, which we identified. These 3 dimensions, how consumers talk about healthy, are prescription for health, relationships and happiness, and nature. And I'm going to go through each of those to give you a little bit more detail. The first factor encompasses the top-of-mind associations for healthy, things like eating fruit and vegetables, exercising regularly, maintaining a healthy weight, cleanliness, and so on. Whereas the other 2 factors, as you'll see, represent a much deeper emotional association with healthy. I'll now expand on those 3 dimensions. This factor, prescription for health, seems to represent a sort of a shopping list, if you like, a view of being healthy, focused primarily on physical health. They believe you should follow a well-defined list of recommendations. You eat your 5 a day, fruit and veg. You practice good hygiene. You exercise regularly, going down the gym or whatever, 3 or 5 times a week. There's a definite right way of doing things. And as long as you follow that list, you will achieve good health. Interestingly, when we look at Germany, the most important step of the prescriptive behavior revolves around healthy eating, followed by exercising, whilst Russians also cite loving relationships and positive emotions as part of that prescriptive behavior. As you can see from these examples, respondents that have provided their collage and then described their collages, they talk in a lot of detail about what they've chosen and why they've chosen the particular images. They talk about how they feel and what is important to them to stay healthy. Those examples from the US and UK. And you can see the amount of detail and the emotional side that's coming through there. The second dimension of healthy is relationships and happiness. This for us was perhaps the most surprising out of all the groups. The fact that this seems to represent a much deeper view of healthy, focusing on mental and emotional well-being, around happiness and the impact of meaningful relationships. Time spent with the family and friends is really important, and it's very important to stay healthy and live a healthy and meaningful life. More Chinese respondents associate health with family as well. Additionally, more Russians also seem to attribute, should I say, a feeling good about themselves, having self-confidence and knowing they are as part of being healthy. So it's about Russians feeling themselves that they have to look after themselves. And again, examples of why respondents feel relationships and happiness are important, staying healthy. China, for example, talking about good physical health, but also good relations and having